My Hero Academia, the movie, Two Heroes. So as you can probably assume, My Hero Academia, the movie, is fantastic. It was an absolute blast to see. I saw it earlier today to a roaring crowd, very, very loud and very, very energetic, and it was just a good experience, regardless of the quality of the film. I mean, just being there with a bunch of My Hero Academia fans and just that energy, you know, that hype, it was enjoyable just on that front alone. But the movie was also really, really enjoyable. I think that they did a really good job of just checking off the boxes of what a shonen anime movie needs to do. Number one is just letting the characters kind of just let loose. There's a Naruto movie that I saw, I think it's the first Shippuden movie, where they let Lee use the alcohol chocolate or whatever so he can just let loose and just start beating the crap out of everyone. And that's something that doesn't really happen canonically. And in this movie, we have Deku. This isn't too much of a spoiler. I'm not going to be dipping into spoilers in this review because it's a good movie and you should see it yourself. But there's this gauntlet that Deku has that grants him the ability to pretty much use his power at full force, but he can only do it 3 times. It happens really early in the film. I apologize if I spoiled it or whatever. You see it in all the previews and stuff for the movie. That is the gauntlet's purpose, and it's just a really good way to just have Deku just be a badass. And that's what Deku does in this movie. I think that they did a really good job of just letting Deku cut loose and just be the coolest he could possibly be. And that's something that we don't see in the anime. And I'm glad that it's happening here. And I should say the manga, not just the anime. I mean, obviously the manga has done some crazier things, you know, later on and everything. But as of right now in the anime, we're not seeing Deku just constantly kicking ass. Like, that's not really happening. And it's just really, really nice to see that. And I don't know, I really like the way they set that kind of up. They created this perfect plot device that makes sense to the overall story. The overall story itself isn't super interesting, it isn't out of control, and it's very tame, and it makes sense, and it fits into My Hero Academia. But there's some twist, and again, I'm not dipping into spoilers, but there were some points towards the end of the film where things definitely got a little unpredictable. Things definitely happened, and I was genuinely surprised. I really dug the structure of it all, and I really dig how they set these big revelations up. I thought it paid off really, really well towards the end of the film, and I think there's one scene in particular, and if you've seen the movie already, you know what I'm talking about, where just all these revelations just start plopping everywhere. There's all these shocking moments. It just happens all in one scene, and then the film kind of enters its climax, the final act. And it's just when everything just gets cranked up to 10. Everything just gets super, super hype. And I really, really love that. I think that Bones did a good job of just deciding what moment that happens and then what happens after that moment. I think that, again, just really good writing there. Really good writing. The characters in the movie, I mean, we have Bakugo, we have Todoroki, and then the rest of the class and everything. And Bakugo seemed to be the character that got the most cheer. There's a lot of Bakugo fangirls there. A lot of Todoroki fangirls as well. And it was just, it felt like I was watching a Marvel movie. It really did. It felt like people were cheering for these characters. Whenever a character would pop on the screen, whenever Mineta would say something, people would cheer and react to that character. And that I really, really, it was just fun. That was really, really fun. And I think that enhanced the experience overall. But there were great character moments here. And there were great fights between Bakugo and some henchmen and Todoroki, and they let these characters just cut loose again and just kind of just have fun, and I like that. It feels like I just have like a bunch of My Hero Academia figurines and I'm just playing with them. That's what it felt like watching this movie. There was no ties really to stuff that's happening canonically. It was just fun just to have all these characters together and just kicking ass. That's what the movie's all about. There was a point in the movie where things did kind of hit a little bit of a lull. I want to say it's about halfway through where things got a little bit slow, a little bit like, okay, let's go. But it happens very briefly. It's a very brief sort of lull that happens in the middle of the film, and it gets alleviated pretty quickly. That's really my only complaint, because pretty much all the way through, it's all action, and it's all really exciting, and it's very, very funny, too. Very, very humorous in a lot of scenes. I mean, that's what My Hero Academia does really well, is balance humor with serious tone and everything. The tone of the movie is also really good, and sort of the message of the movie. It's a message that's been told many, many times in My Hero Academia. I feel like almost every arc has sort of told this same exact thing, but it's done just gloriously here. It really is. It is done to a point where, like, I don't know. They've been, beating us over the head with this idea of Deku being, the torch is being passed on, and we've known this already, but it's still just a magical thing. It truly is. I watched the movie dubbed, so I'm not super keen on the dub. I haven't watched the series dubbed really. I've heard some of the voices here and there. The dub's good. Mineta's voice I was not digging, though. I didn't like how they kind of like gave him a lisp or something. I don't really know what's going on there. But everyone else was fantastic. Obviously, All Might is just amazing. When All Might got on screen, whenever he would just garb that smile and he would toss his cape and every single line that he said, all that hype stuff, people were just going crazy in the theater. People were roaring in the theater, and it reminds me of when I saw Infinity War. It really does. It's just people cheering for these characters. I remember when Spider-Man first got on screen, people were just jumping up and down for that character, and it's just really cool that My Hero Academia has that fan base and has that kind of crowd that's excited for this content, that's excited for these new types of stories and these big character moments. I really, really dug them. I think that's probably my favorite part about the movie, was just the appreciation. You could tell that they know why people love these characters, and they're capitalizing on those reasons in this movie. Between every single character, between Bakugo, between Deku, between All Might, they all just excel at what we know of these characters and what we love about these characters. And again, that goes to Bones. I think they did a good job. I know Horikoshi has some involvement there as well, so it makes sense that that's what goes down in the film. Also, what goes down in the film is probably the best animation that My Hero Academia has ever had. Again, it's a movie, so it's a little cheating, but there is some stellar cuts. Literally the last 10 minutes of the movie is just non-stop Sakuga, just a crazy ride of just awesomeness. I won't get into spoilers. It's kind of hard to talk about these scenes without getting into details and explaining what's actually happening, but there's some stuff that they haven't showed in the previews, particularly the final act, that is just jaw-dropping. It truly is. I believe it's Nakamura. I believe I saw some Yutapon cubes. I think it looked a little familiar. It looked like I've seen work like this before. I'm not 100%, but I think Nakamura worked on a good chunk of the final act of the movie, and it shows, and it's spectacular. The movie opens beautifully too. The movie, again, not too much of a spoiler here, just dipping into a little bit of it. It kind of begins with All Might being young, and it shows him in America, and it shows him kind of kicking ass in the States. And I really just love how the movie opened. I really love that we're immediately just brought into My Hero, brought into this world, brought into All Might as a character. He might be younger, it might be a little different, but he is still All Might. He's still the symbol of peace, and you see that, and it gets you excited to see what's going to happen and how is this going to unfold. The overall story, again, wasn't anything spectacular, but they, again, were just capitalizing on the characters sort of carrying the story on their shoulder, and there were twists and turns that definitely were seasoned throughout that kind of bolstered up that story, and it wasn't just only on the characters, but there were some tricks up Bone's sleeve, tricks up Horikoshi's sleeve that definitely benefited towards the film. That's all I really have to say. Again, I could get into spoilers and really kind of dip into specific moments that I really liked. Melissa, I thought, was a really cool character. A lot of people were cheering her on and making jokes and stuff, which was really funny. Really, really good crowd, just an excellent crowd for sure. But Melissa, she's the American girl, and David, the scientist, I believe this is already public knowledge. I think these characters are already known to most people. The scientist that designed All Might's suit or whatever, he's cool. I kind of dug his character. He goes on kind of an arc throughout the film. Melissa kind of goes on an arc throughout the film. It's interesting, and Horikoshi confirmed that this movie is technically canon. I don't know what that really means, and if he plans on expanding upon Island and what these characters represent and everything, but there are some distinct connections to some canon stuff, and it's really, really cool how they do it. At least I thought it did. It's a little cheap, but it's okay. I'll let you. I'm gonna let it slide. I think that's kind of how it is. It feels. It's just exciting. It's exciting knowing that this is meaningful. It's actually something important to the world of My Hero Academia. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. It was just a fun time, pretty much all the way through. Just spectacular animation, great character moments, really good dub, really good soundtrack, and just a good crowd. Again, this is kind of my personal experience watching the film. I'm sure if I watched it like at home alone, in the dark, just chilling, I would have a different perspective on the film, and I would see it a little bit differently. Maybe I'd nitpick it a little bit more. But just when you're in the theater, it's an entirely different thing. It's just the crowd and just the energy of the fan base really just help elevate the film on a pedestal that just cannot be reached by many other series. It's really exciting to have My Hero Academia sort of enter the echelon that like Naruto and One Piece and Dragon Ball are at in terms of just hype and excitement for movies, for film. This is My Hero Academia's first film, and I'm sure that there's a second film planned. I'm sure that they're planning on these things. The theater was packed. It was difficult to get seats. It was difficult to literally walk in and just sit down. Like, we had to scout. I was with my brother. We were just scouting around for seats. Luckily, we actually found some pretty decent ones, but it was packed. So, hopefully, this movie's doing well in the States, and that gets the studio and gets Horikoshi excited to work on a sequel and make it even bigger and better. It did a really good job. And to be totally honest, I'll say this now. This is one of the better shonen anime movies I've seen. I haven't seen too many. I've seen one of the One Piece movies, and I've seen almost all of the Naruto movies. This tops almost all those Naruto movies, in terms of production at least. Maybe not story, but in terms of production and just kind of the pacing of it all. I think it has it beat. I really do. I think that they did a really, really good job here. 2 thumbs up for sure. If you've seen the movie, if you have seen Two Heroes, make sure to comment down below and give me your thoughts. And if you have not, and you have some questions or concerns, pop them down in the comments. I'll try to alleviate them, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible without spoiling anything. And if you're just excited about the film and want to spread that around, comment down below as well. Thank you very, very much for watching. It's fun talking about My Hero Academia not on a Saturday. I think this is the first time I've ever really done that. So yeah, look forward to more My Hero Academia reviews. I believe there's 1 episode left. Yeah, I think there's 1 more left, so that's this Saturday. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe for that if you must. I appreciate all the support, and you guys are great. You guys are great. The My Hero Academia fan base is alive and well, and it's exciting. It's exciting to be a My Hero Academia fan, and I'm just glad to be a part of it in some significant way. Maybe I don't know if it's significant, but in some way it's nice. Anyway, thank you guys very, very much for watching, and until next time, go beyond plus ultra. Bye bye.